2 lifelong friends, 1 local establishment, plenty of edgy conversation. What's said in the bar no longer stays in the bar. This is Conspiracy Beerists.
Trust no one, Mr. Mulder.
Welcome to Conspiracy Beerists. In this episode, Brian and I sit down and we discuss the documentary known as Missing411. And then after that, we sort of get into a rather lengthy discussion about, well, let's just call it a mishmash of all kinds of strange conspiracies that some of which we may discuss on a future podcast.
But I know the next one we're going to discuss is going to be more... I'm kind of interested to hear what you think is on the conspiracy side of the one we're going to talk about next. So, because did you watch the actual documentary?
Oh, Missing411, yeah.
Yeah. That came off to me as more of just a missing persons documentary than...
It was only about 4 people, wasn't it? Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so before we start, tell people what Missing411 is.
Missing411 is actually a book by David Politis that Missing411 means missing info, I think, right?
Yes.
But all these people are disappearing from national parks, and some of them are found alive in places they've searched over and over, and some are, their bones or whatever are found thousands of feet up in mountains, and they're wondering how they even got up there. So it could be, there's all types of things they think it could be, but it's not animals dragging it up there, because there's no drag marks, there's no blood, and it's a crazy thing too. Stay out of the woods.
Now the one thing that, because you turned me on to it, so I watched a couple of the conspiracy videos that he got interviewed on.
Yeah.
And he doesn't ever come out and say, aliens or anything out of left field like that. But
did you watch the Edge of Wonder one?
Yeah, I watched the Edge of Wonder one, and I forget what the name of the other one was.
He's got another one called Missing411 The Hunt.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to pay for it. I just watched the one for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the other podcasts, so I can give proper credit to. It was a play on Fireside Chat.
There's something called Conspiracy. Gosh, I can't remember because I listened to a podcast about it, but I can't remember their name either.
Well, the weird thing about the video, like I said, is he sounded like they portrayed it more as just a missing persons thing than any of the other...
Right. That's what you think. And then, see, Edge of Wonder even said that David Politis will not come out and say that it's aliens or anything like that, because he said that if somebody else comes out and says, no way, and proves him wrong, then there goes his name. So he didn't want to say that, but like I told you earlier, that he has a website on Bigfoot, and I think that's a sneaky way of saying that's what it is, something like Bigfoot. But he also was talking about a guy that was walking through the woods, and he walked into a thing and his foot disappeared. Did you hear that one?
No.
Like stuck his foot through something and then turned around and ran like hell, is what he said. But they're thinking that could have been
a vortex or something?
A portal, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not looking for it and you just walk into it,
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, all of it's unreal.
Well, the one case that was weird to me, the main one in the documentary,
Little boy.
Of the boy, is it sure seems weird that the grandpa and his buddy
were there.
Yeah.
And nothing, didn't see anything.
It's like, oh, he was there, and no, he wasn't. And then even in the documentary, and I know it's a documentary, so they could be editing it to make them look like they're going against each other now,
Right.
but that one just seemed to me like something happened to that kid.
And they did something.
And yeah, they did something. But the one that was weird was the father and the son on that side of the road peak.
Okay, yeah.
And forgetting the name of that lake.
I can't remember.
But the kid was just like across the road up a hill right next to him.
Thank you. Yeah, and he's seen him
And
for a second, and then was it the one that they all went fishing? And then the cousin or something was coming down. He's kind of a
no, that was the next one. This one was just a father and a son. And the kid just went over the hill, and the dad literally claims he went right up the hill, and he was gone.
That's not right. Could be a portal system.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Nobody knows, I bet.
I mean, I don't know if I buy that it's weird.
You don't think it's alien-ish?
I mean, you think it could be, but most alien abduction are associated with the UFO
Right.
that people see. The one thing in that documentary that was weird was him saying that the Forest or the Park Service wouldn't or didn't have any kind of information
Right.
about the amount
They
of
were going to charge him $1.2 million or something
Yeah.
like that for it. Which it's free. It's sent that act where you can get free information. Is that what it is?
Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
I just thought that was weird that they wouldn't have at least some rudimentary kind of number of how many
Right.
missing people have gone missing in all the parks.
It's
I mean, there's got to be a
crazy how many
database
people
for
in
it somewhere.
U.S. go missing each year. It's like 30,000, isn't it? Something like that. So that's missing. I mean, sometimes it's the family taking their kids or whatever.
Or
Parental
somebody just
kidnapping.
running away,
Right.
going quote unquote off the grid.
Right. Remember the guy that they went skiing in California or New York, I think, and he ended up in California? This was just recently, probably a year and two ago. They could not understand how he got there, but he rode in a truck. They tried talking to the truck driver, and he didn't say nothing about it. So it's like 3,000 miles he traveled without anybody even knowing how he got there. They were looking for him in New York, couldn't find him. All of a sudden he kind of pops up wearing the ski coat and all this stuff in California.
So what did he say?
He said that's what he took a truck over, but he had a head wound too. But it had to be
So amnesia?
something, yeah, or aliens.
It's always alien. Now, I was just thinking when you're telling that story, like people get away with shit all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a few years ago, that lady got hit here and a couple towns over, jogging, and I don't think they ever found who hit her.
She died?
Yeah.
Oh, she did. Yeah, I'm sure.
It was
How
on
do
Fish
you-
Lake Road.
How are you going to find out, really?
Yeah, because she was early morning, out jogging. Somebody hit her, and
They're going to find hair on their bumper?
yeah, they got to find the bumper first.
Right.
Guy's probably been to Earl Shive already, getting his car painted. So, what do you think is the? Do you think it's just missing people, or do you think there's?
I think there's something to it, probably. Just because it happens so fast to these people. And they walk. They get hundreds of people that go looking for these people and walk through the part where he's missing and then come back days later and he's there, sometimes alive, that's unreal.
So they still hadn't found.
They haven't found that kid yet.
Yeah. But the one they did from the 50s,
Yeah, he was talking, wasn't he, on there?
yeah, he was on there, and they had that Les Stroud guy from Survivor Man.
Right.
And he's like, his 3-year-old kid walked all that way through up that big mountain.
10,000 feet high.
And without clothes on or something. I forget how he said it, but he goes, I walked up there and I was struggling.
Right.
He goes, and I'm
And the kid
experienced.
was 2, wasn't he?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
A 2-year-old kid. and his shoes, like they found him 3 years later or something, up there, and his shoes were perfect. Like they never.
Yeah, that was the one with the.
A different one.
That was the one that the kid was found dead.
Oh, okay.
And the dad was sleeping. The daughter and the kid went for a walk, and the dad stayed in the apartment or motel or whatever and fell asleep watching a football game. But a couple of years later, they found his shoe.
That's amazing, dude. But it's like that Fire in the Sky movie, kind of. What's his face that gets taken up in the UFO, and the people seen him, and he comes back 4 or 5 days later, freezing or shaking from shock, and claims he was in a UFO.
Yeah, Travis Walton.
Yeah. And he still talks to people to this day, I think.
Yeah, the other one is kind of walked away from all of that because...
One of his buddies?
Yeah, the head guy that Robert Patrick played in the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm forgetting his name now, but he would do interviews with Travis Walton about, we seen Travis get hit by the beam.
Right.
And we all just panicked and drove away, and then we turned around and went back, and he was gone.
What would you do? I would shit myself.
Yeah, I'd shit myself too, but I can sit here and act all like hard ass, say, nah, I wouldn't leave you, man.
Right. Look at that beam.
I'd be bitching at you like they did in the movie for you wanting. I'm gonna go down and take a look.
Yeah, right.
No.
I wouldn't do that, never.
I'll be back
But
here.
didn't you seen a UFO when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
See, Don Adams told me that he seen a UFO in Argentine when he lived in Lobdell Road. But, man, I swear, I looked up from my trailer park, looked up in the sky and seen a black...
It's a modular home park.
Yeah, right. FEMA camp. And I seen a black triangle, just covering the stars going through. I looked at it for a second. I was like, damn, no lights on it or nothing. And it just went by. Didn't do nothing, just right over my fucking trailer. But
You're talking about conspiracies. They're coming to get you.
yeah, right.
No, what I saw, I couldn't, to this day, I can't say it was a UFO or a plane. I can just say it sure as hell didn't act like a plane. Because it was just a bright light that went, stopped, sat there, and it went down.
Wow.
And like you said, it didn't make any noise or anything, so.
And it seems like they live under the oceans. What I just watched the other day on Ancient Aliens. What are they? USOs?
Unidentified submerged objects.
Yeah. Well, there's also a different name for the UFOs.
Yeah, USOs.
No, it's something else. It's like some phenomenon. Flying phenomenon or something.
Aerial phenomenon?
Maybe that's what it is. But
Submerged
Hillary Clinton
phenomenon?
came out, yeah.
Maybe it's Loch Ness Monster down there.
They seem to think there's one of them, too.
There was a new theory about the Loch Ness Monster now, so they're saying this is what it would look like now, not some Tyrannosaurus or Brontosaurus.
Yeah. Trust me, I ain't swimming there.
I wouldn't swim there anyways, but
I don't want to swim anywhere.
I'm too old and fat to swim anywhere, so
wear a shirt and say you're allergic to the sun or something.
Well, I was talking to another guy on Facebook probably a month or so ago. Somehow Anton LaVey, the old
Yeah.
Church of Satan guy, came up I goes, I wonder, if he was still alive, how he'd be on social media.
Yeah, right. Well, they put him on the news. Did you see that one? That clip?
He's been on, he was on.
He's talking to one of the, just a regular TV news broadcast.
Right.
And he's doing the fucking that and cursing everybody. He's like, oh, no, I'm not cursing you guys, but this is what you do to curse somebody.
Yeah, but he was also a showman, too,
Right.
so.
But they got pictures of him with Red Hot Chili Peppers, Marilyn Manson, some other, obviously, other people. But another thing they had on his last words, he was dying in his deathbed, and he like freaked out for a second before he died. Like he's like, "Oh no!"
He's going to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was even in Aleister Crowley. That's where like Jimmy Page and
Mr. Crown.
yeah,
Right.
and Ozzy and all those guys.
It's crazy, dude.
I don't know if they necessarily worshiped the guy or whether they just knew if they
knew that
if they
he was-
said that they believed in him, and people would get offended. That would get them more attention.
Right. He could be.
Do you think, like I'm forgetting what it's called now? The shit.
Cabal.
No.
But yes, I
Ron
do
C.
believe the Freemasons have a lot to do with something. There was a guy called Albert Pike. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. He actually wrote out what the World War I should be, World War II should be, and World War III should be. Who's going to be fighting in it and everything. He wrote it back in 1800s sometime.
What's like Nostradamus with all his?
But he was actually planning this stuff. This is what the Illuminati planned out. And he was part of the Illuminati. It's really not called the Illuminati, but
So what is it really called?
I don't know, Cabal. It's the Illuminati, but they
You
don't want
don't want to
be
get
called
suicided.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's one I do want to go back to on a future podcast. Is
Illuminati Freemasons. Oh,
well,
that'd be
that
great.
I want to go back to the suiciding you talked about with all the musicians and shit.
Like the Doors, Jim Morrison and all them? Or
Jim
are you
Morrison.
talking about the new ones? Chester?
We can do all of them. I mean, go from Morrison to Kurt Cobain to
Okay, on Chester from Lincoln Park. You know that guy?
Yeah.
Chester Bennington. Hillary's right-hand man was called John Podesta. You know who he is?
I know the name.
Well, supposedly Chester was molested by his mother's friend. Well, if you look at pictures, he looks identical to John Podesta. And what they say, some people say that John Podesta murdered him on the first full moon of this certain month, which is a sacrificial something. But all these people that are getting murdered are all getting murdered the same way, or suiciding themselves the same way, with a red band around their necks on a doorknob. Right? Something like that?
I don't know. I'm asking you. 'Cause,
Well, I don't know exactly.
I mean,
for sure.
we're going to do it on a later podcast, but I'll look into it more, so I'm more prepared to talk about it.
Okay, do you remember when Beyonce did the Super Bowl?
Yeah, last year, 2 years ago, whenever it was.
Yes, 2 or 3 years ago. She's got an alter ego called...
Bootylicious.
No. Beyonce's got... I'm a survivor.
Sorry.
God, what is that? I can't remember right now, but I'll send that to you too. But she actually says to Oprah that that's the first time something actually came in me when I looked up before her Super
Before
Bowl
Jay-Z came in her. Oh,
yeah. Little Blue, Vita Blue or whatever. And she said something came into me. Sasha Fierce is her alter ego, like Eminem has Marshall Mathers.
Right. Sasha Fields.
Fierce.
Fierce. Okay.
Yes. And she's does all the crazy shit that Beyonce won't do, she says. But she's doing the singing on that Super Bowl, and dude, you can see her eyes turn black. There's crazy things going on with her throat, like weird shit, manifesting shit.
So you're saying Sasha Fierce was singing Super Bowl, not Beyonce?
Well, I mean, it's Beyonce, but she was channeling something inside her. Like Jay-Z.
That'll be interesting to look into because my initial thought was split personalities, but
They're alter egos.
well, same difference.
And just like Eminem, he made it huge. But how come you make it huge? Because you do something. He actually made a video where his friend Proof from Detroit gets shot in front of a fast or a quick save or whatever. He actually got shot in front of a quick save in real life and killed. So they think that maybe that's Eminem's official sacrifice and then bumped him up a little bit to make more money or something else. Dude, it's unbelievable. It's hard to believe.
We're going to have to flush that one out into a cogent show because that's a lot for me to take in.
And then a lot of people think Beyonce has her sister. She's got a sister too. I can't remember her name right now. They think that she's actually Beyonce's daughter, and Vita Blue or whatever the fuck his name is her kid. So it's all fucking jacked. But did you see where Beyonce was at a basketball game with Jay-Z and she's just fucking dazed and totally fucking not there in her head? See, there's a lot to brainwashing these people. And that has a lot to do with everything. Freemasonry.
So who's doing all this?
If I controlled the world, I would do that too, but I don't have time for that. I'd have to worry about politics and all that shit. But that's what they do. The leaders have presidents do what they're supposed to do. And because there's leaders above leaders. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, the Rothschilds or whatever. Somebody that, big time, tells these people what to do. And Jay-Z actually, his first record company is called Rockefeller Records. Why would they do that? It's crazy, Dan. There's so much to this. It's fucking unreal. Did I watch this one thing where when Whitney Houston died? Because you're worth more dead than you are alive to the big dogs. And when Whitney Houston died, she died at the Emmy or Grammy Awards, one of those.
Right.
And they didn't take her body out of there until after the ceremony.
See, I look forward to this show because
it's amazing. I'll look more into it and I'll send you some shit because it just blows my mind. Who was her producer? Whitney's producer.
Clive
Davis.
Yeah.
Or is it Clive Davis?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they think he's Satan's right-hand man, too. Dude, I'll send you some shit. It is fucking crazy. Whitney comes into this... He's interviewing Brandy, that Brandy girl, singer, black singer.
All right.
She had her own TV show and everything.
Moesha,
yeah. So glad to meet you. And he's talking to her on camera, and all of a sudden Whitney Houston comes in and gives Brandy this note, and Brandy looks at it like, what the fuck is this? And like hides it. And they all start talking, and they're all like trying to do this with Whitney, like, you fucking heroin addict or whatever. And then she ends up dying.
Yeah, and she's all strung out on crack.
Yeah. Bobby Brown. And his daughter dies the same way. In a bathtub.
See, that's what I don't get about all that is she dies and all these other people die, but yet idiots like Bobby Brown, he ain't dead. Keith Richards is
still kicking.
The guy snorted his own dad, and he ain't dead.
Maybe that's what you gotta do. No, I don't get why Mick Jagger's still alive. But anyways, all of them.
I did see a funny meme the other day that said if you were born in 1964, there's a good chance that Mick Jagger's your dad.
Yeah, ugly bastards.
And that's going to wrap up this episode of Conspiracy Beerists. We hope you enjoyed the program. If you have any thoughts, let us know on Facebook at Conspiracy Beerists. Give us a follow and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for listening. And remember, the truth is out there. You just have to know where to look.
WLLP Spock Rock Radio.